Jim Byers alongside Rodney Nelson at Railbird Rodney on Twitter. Thanks a lot for joining us here. We're fast tonight, overcast, a little muggy, 73 degrees. So we've gone with the short sleeves, and we're ready to analyze our 8-race card tonight. Interesting note pointed out by our TV chief, John Marsh. We've got 3-year-olds and up going in the very first race for Arabians. All the other straightaway races tonight are for 2-year-olds. So by this point in the year, though, a lot of these 2-year-olds are fairly experienced, but it should be a fun night. We've got a carryover in the Super High Five into the final race tonight. But, Rodney, let's get right on to this Arabian race in race 1. Already, as you can see, a 1-9 favorite. Now, obviously, there's not a lot of money in the pools yet, but these are $10,000 claiming 3-year-olds and up going 3/4 of a mile, and all the attention is on everybody's pick, you, me, and Rick Lee in the program on 400 proof AA.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's early, not much money in the pools. It's a short field as well. But, 400 proof AA taking a lot of money early on. I mean, this is the one to beat here in this first race, I think. This horse has won 3 out of the last 4 races. All of those coming at sprint distances. The one time this horse didn't finish in the money in those last 4 races, or even this year, was 2 starts back, and that was in the Grade 2 Texas Arabian Derby. That was around 2 turns. So going back to 1 turn tonight, I think it's right where 400 proof AA likes to run. Trainer Ernesto Torres, he's been winning these Arabian races left and right. It seems like out here this year, I've got the 5 as my top choice. Number 6, Fleet de Sand, is going to be my second selection here. This horse gets out, runs quick, likes to get out there in front all the way down the racetrack, but has a tendency to get caught at the end. And if you look at how 400 proof AA runs, has a tendency to gain at the end. So that's how I feel this race is going to turn out, as 5 over 6. And then I got Proud American, the 2, as my third choice here. A solid third last time out. That was in the Arabian Claiming Cup right out here on our track. Horses hit the board in all 3 starts out here at Lone Star Park, including a couple wins at this distance. I think Proud American is good enough to hit the board here in the first.
I think getting back to 6 furlongs is going to help Proud American. I picked him last time at 3-1, and the first thing I heard you say in your preview is that he was running loose in the paddock. And I thought, well, there you go. You pick a 3-1 shot in an Arabian race, and you find out that he's loose in the paddock. That was not a good sign. I did not have high hopes after that. But nonetheless, I took 400 proof right back again. I mean, I thought his win over Jobe A was underwhelming for a horse who was 7-10 in the wagering. I mean, he barely held him off. Jobe A at 18-1 made a tremendous run, got to within about a head of him at the end. But it was still 400 proof earned it. It was 7/8 of a mile. He gets to shorten up a little bit here. And he has a nice style. He can stalk. He can be up on the front end, whatever the case may be. I have a feeling that Fleet de Sand is going to have the lead to himself here. So I'm the same. I went 5-6-2. We've got a video for you in race number 2. In this one, I like a horse called the Speed of Light. That's the 6. We're going to watch him. He's going to be the 3 in this video coming up. And he's going to get a tremendous start. The 3 in here is going to be in blue with white blinkers. Watch the 3 here. This is going to be a tremendous start. Look how far in front he is here in the first couple jumps. I mean, you have parallax distortion and all, and that 5-horse broke well, but he's probably got a length on that 5 here in the early going. It's a 400-yard race last month, and this horse battles. He's going to be second best here. Mercy's Bling is going to end up sweeping up on the outside and winning. In fact, Mercy's Bling is in my picks this week. He's coming back. Really nice race by Mercy's Bling, but my 3-horse hung on there. He was 6-1 that day, the Speed of Light. That was a $16,000 maiden claimer, but I love the break there. He gets to go 50 yards shorter here. This is a 350 race tonight. These are maiden 2-year-old claimers. Drops a little bit in class. Of course, a bunch of these are dropping. So I'm going to take a shot on this J.J. Gonzalez, the 3rd trainee. The Speed of Light, that good start, is going to be my pick over Susie Q, and who I think is going to be overbet, and Perry's Last Trick. Susie Q, the one to beat, and I see you have her on top. That makes a lot of sense. And lately, trying to beat favorites has been a difficult proposition, but we'll see how things go.
Well, I'll tell you, this race was kind of difficult for me. I like the Speed of Light. I mean, this horse shows that he can break out of the gate very nice. That last race was good. Dropping back in some distance, I think, helps Speed of Light out tonight. I really like it, but I went with Susie Q. What put me on Susie Q was out of the 4 races, 3 of them were in straight maiden races. The one time this horse was in for a tag was in for $20,000. Drops down here to 12.5, and in that $20,000 race, I mean, ran a solid bang-up third behind a next-out winner in I Am Kamala. Last time out, there were some next-out winners as well. I think Susie Q can get the job done, but the Speed of Light definitely one to watch. If you're looking for some better odds, you probably get it on the 6. And then the 10, Fancy Tale, that's my third choice. Last time out was a 7th place finish. But before that, I mean, was a good third, missed by a length. If you look back to Sam Houston, Louisiana Downs this year, horse had some pretty good runs. So we'll see if Fancy Tale can't get up from the outside and finish in the top 3 here in the second.
One additional note before we move on about that horse that we showed the video on, the Speed of Light, who broke on top and, wound up running second, beating a half length. I don't know if he could see the winner out there. The winner, Mercy's Bling, was way out there, and he had that 5 horse next to him, and it kind of looked like, and he was wearing blinkers, kind of looked like maybe the horse himself kind of thought, if they think like this, I got this 5 horse beat. He probably thought he won the race. Meanwhile, 40 feet out there in the middle of the track, that 8 horse swept by him all. That's another reason that I thought he ran what could be considered a winning race there. But we'll see. I mean, that 2 horse is going to be a pretty short price. Short prices have been faring well here of late. On to the 3rd. Scratch the 4, a long shot, Hot and Daring. 2-year-old maiden fillies here at 300.
I'll take the number 6, Apolitical Corona. This is horses that I really like. I love horses making their second start. The 6 is doing just that here. This horse is by Apolitical Jess, a world champion right here. Had 1 start so far in his career that came at 250 right back here on the 12th of November. Ran 3rd in that one, just beaten by a head. Put in a good effort in that one. So adding another 50 yards here, making that second start of her career. I think Apolitical Corona gets the job done here for Trey Wood. Number 8 is going to be my second choice. That is Babes. This is a horse that I picked probably a couple times this year and didn't run very well on me either of those times out here at Lone Star Park. Had some trouble in both of those starts out here on our track, but you know what? The horse did run in the West Texas Juvenile earlier this year, ran 4th in that one, just missing by half a length. Qualified and ran 2nd in the La Fiesta Futurity at the Downs at Albuquerque. 2 pretty decent races right there. The horse has come in within a length of the winner. I think Babes can have a good shot here. And then number 2, Paint Your Favorite. That's my third choice. 2 starts for this horse. Had a nice improvement between start 1 and start 2. We'll see if she can't keep it rolling here in race number 3 and get up and hit the board.
I think there's really good contention in here. You and I and Rick all picked Apolitical Corona. She ran a really super race. It was 2 noses and then her. I mean, 3 noses across the wire in her debut. And it was a little less than a month ago, so not too much of a gap. And she really fired out of there. But I think it's pretty wide open for second. I took the 9, Ablaze. I think she's in her best spot yet. She's been in all the big trials. Texas Classic here, finished 6th out of 9, was beaten a little less than 3 lengths. She was beaten pretty solidly in all the major $1 million trials at Ruidoso. The one time she tried maidens here, she was 13-1 and got into some trouble and just ran kind of an even 6th. But she's never really had much of a chance. That's the 9, Ablaze. I think she may take to this drop, and she is also a full sister to San Lorenzo Tay, who's not having a great year this year, but he had a great 2-year-old year. He won the Remington Futurity last year. So I took Ablaze second, and Fabulous Horizon, who's out of an unraced mare. Steinbo, though, the trainer, is 14% with firsters. She has to deal with the inside, but she's training okay. So I took Fabulous Horizon third. 4th race, maiden claiming 2-year-olds. They're in for a 12-5 tag. Don't forget, with the 8-race card today, that 3rd race begins the pick 6. So if you're a pick 6 player, gear up early because the pick 6 starts with race 3 and the pick 5 starts with race 4. On our longer cards, we're deeper into the program before those start. And 4th race to this point has no scratches.
So give me the 7, Jess Can Do, 9-5 favorite, morning line favorite right here. I think Jess Can Do can have a good run out here. I mean, I spent the last 3 races out here on our track. Has a 2nd place finish at Showforth. That was 2 back. Most recent race, crossed the finish line in 5th, was only beaten by 3/4, ended up being placed 4th in that race. So, I mean, the horse has had 2 pretty good races in a row, both of them coming at this 350-yard distance, and both of them right here at our track. I think Jess Can Do takes the 4th. Number 5, Addie Girl, 10-1 morning line. It's going to be my second choice. I think Addie Girl can have a pretty good run here. She's been out on our track 4 times so far this year. Has a second and a third to show for. That second coming 2 starts back was in for the $7,500 tag that night. Race before that was in for the 12.5, just like tonight. That was a 250-yard race, but you know what? She ran fairly well in that one, finishing 4th, beaten by 3/4 after being bumped early. Thing I don't like about it is this horse has gone off favorite twice in the last 3 races and been beaten both times. So Addie Girl, some bigger odds tonight. We'll see what happens. And then the number 9, J. Phoebe's, is going to be my third choice. Another one that's 10-1 on the morning line. Horse has been in trials, Futurity trial races, all 3 races, 2 of them at Ruidoso, 1 of them here for the Dash for Cash Futurity. Was well beaten in all of them. We'll see if coming down here in for the tag for the first time, facing these maidens is going to be where J. Phoebe's needs to be, but I got it 7-5-9 here in race 4.
You know, I'm glad you mentioned Jay Phoebe's because I really wanted to use him in the picks. I think he could be dangerous, but he hadn't worked since that Dash for Cash trial. Then I find out today, just a little bit ago, he did work on 12.5 at the Red Earth Training Center there in central Oklahoma, not that far from Remington. Jay Phoebe's had a 220 work and 12.92 breezing. So, and that allows him to go in here. And if I had known that, I might have used him somewhere in the picks myself. But nonetheless, I'm on Just Can Do as well. Adds Lasix for the first time today. It has the best E-Speed figures, if you're a follower of those in this race by far. And they've been pretty representative lately. Last time out, was right up in it for a while on the sloppy track. And it's been competitive here this fall. So I'm going to go with Just Can Do as well and take the short price. Lethal Fast Man is the second pick from here. Showed a lot of speed, ran second last time. And that was this horse's first with Juan Diaz. He was with, I'm mixing him up with Jay Phoebe's. Phoebe's is a newcomer to the Diaz barn last time out. Lethal Fast Man's a James Lackey. Showed pretty well last time out, so I took him second, and 5-bar Shivers, who gets off the rail, comes off a poor performance against T-Breds. 5-bar Shivers is going to be my third pick. Fifth race. Scratch, number 2, Exuberant. 2 T's on that. Maiden 2-year-old fillies here going 300.
Yeah, so I got the 5 Passage of a Woman here in this spot. 4 starts for this horse. Most recent one was in a TQHA Sales Juvenile. Ran third in that race. Had a decent trial, before that. Only missing by a length. In that TQHA Sales Juvenile, the second place winner was a next out winner. I think there's a lot to like about the 5 here. I've got the 6 Flight Song as my second choice. This is a horse that seems to hit the board pretty much every time this horse runs, dating back to Remington Park. Had a second and a third there in 2 starts this year. 6 out of 7 has hit the board so far this year. Just hasn't been able to pick up that win yet. I think she's a runner-up once again tonight. And then number 7, Debonair, is going to be my third choice. First-time starter for John Steinbo. You just mentioned the stat. What was it, 14%?
Yeah.
I didn't know that stat making the pick, but you know what? I like first-time starter here in this spot. I think this horse could get up and do some good things here tonight.
I've got Debonair fourth as well. The morning line indicates this looks like a 2 filly race, the 5 and the 6. I took the 5 Passage of a Woman. I think on paper she is clearly better than the 6, just the way I look at it. But I understand why they're both short in the morning line. Passage of a Woman hasn't been out since the summer at Retama, but did make the TQHA Sale Juvenile and, finished okay in that race. And, has run pretty good numbers overall. And this is a spot that I think is primed for her, and she seems to have some early gate speed. So I took her over Flight Song. And my third pick is Tempting My Chick, first-timer on the inside. The dam of Tempting My Chick V was named, is named Me Chicky. She was a Grade 2 winner, all in New Mexico, but won 8 races. So, Me Chicky, the dam, was pretty good. So I'm going to try Tempting My Chick as a third pick on the inside. That's the 5th race. On to the 6th. Maiden special weight Colts and Geldings here. These are 2-year-olds, and they're going 300 yards.
So I'm on the horse on the outside here. Victorio, the number 8 Last time out, this horse had a pretty good run against maidens. I mean, it finished third in that one, missing by a head. The horse that won at Painted Copper went on to win his next race. So there's never anything bad about getting beat by a horse that goes on to be a two-time winner back-to-back. 2 starts back in the trial for Dash for Cash. Didn't really have a very good run in that one, but the races before that, I mean, a couple thirds and a second. I'll take Victorio coming from the outside here in race number 6. Number 2, Paychecks is going to be my second choice. First-time starter, another one for John Steinbo. Francisco Calderon gets the mount today. 10-1 morning line. If you don't really like any of the other horses in here, go with the first-time starter. That's what I always got to say. So I've got the 2 here in second. And then number 4, First Relentless, is going to be my third choice. This horse has had a lot of tries out on the racetrack, 10 of them to be exact. Has never been able to pick up that win yet, but does have a second and a third. That second was in the most recent race, came right out here, and it was just by a neck. So it was pretty close to being a win for First Relentless, but just couldn't get the job done. But I do think this horse is good enough to finish in the mix here.
Yeah, I took him on top. I mean, he's had 10 tries, but I picked him on top last time, and he ran a super nice race. Sassy Dynasty, was even money that day and just was able to run him down by a neck. And that was a race at 400 yards. He gets to go only 300 this time. He was quick out of the gate last time. I hope he can be again. So hoping for a little bit better price, I took First Relentless over Victorio. Victorio could easily come out and win. I have 2 things to say about him, and I'm going to check on this, see if it's accurate. My antenna came up when it says that Victoria worked at Turf Paradise on November 11th. I got to think that's a case of mistaken identity. Can't believe he ran here on the 5th, shipped out there, worked 6 days later, and now ships back here without ever starting out there. I think that
doesn't seem very efficient, does it?
No, and it seems highly likely that the clockers out there called up the horse whose name spelled similar, Victorio. But anyway, I'm going to check on that. But the other thing about him, he ran a nice race to Painted Copper, the next out winner, but I'm afraid Victorio, and this could come back to bite me, but I think he's a little bit of a nibbler. He's kind of a tease. He does just well enough to keep your attention, but he doesn't win. Now, that being said, he's 6-5. He'll probably win tonight because I'm picking against him. But I'm going to go 4, 5, 3. I've got Paychecks third. Rick's picked him. I think it's pretty clear with Steinbo as the trainer. This horse is probably going to be it's going to be single-digit odds now that we're all picking him, I think.
I will say, I think last week we did have a winner that was 0 for 17 and came and won the race, I think. So, not saying these horses can't win. They can. There's no doubt about it, but I'm just not a fan of 0 for 10.
No, I'm not either, but, I mean, there could be some future 0 for 10s in this group. But, yeah, I agree. I normally will look for somebody that's got a smaller number in that start column. On to the 7th. This is a good group, 300 yards, 2-year-olds, non-winners of a race other than or non-winners of 2, and they're going 300.
All right, so I've got the 8 here, Aristides.
Yeah. First Kentucky Derby winner.
There we go.
Namesake.
Yeah. All right. I got this horse on top here. I mean, this horse has had a pretty good year. I mean, has already won $37,000 out of the 7 starts that he's had so far. I mean, he's picked up a couple wins, one of those being 2 starts back at Ruidoso Downs. The horse was in the Rainbow Juvenile Invitational this year, the Ruidoso Juvenile as well. I mean, this horse has been in some decent races, ran well in all of them, or pretty much all of them. I think this horse gets up for the win. Number 3, Just Roll Me Over. That's going to be my second choice. 15-1 morning line for this horse. Just Roll Me Over, she's won back-to-back races. I like that. Broke her maiden 2 starts back by a head at Sam Houston. Took some time off. Got back to the track on the 19th of November right out here in the non-winners of 2 for the $20,000 tag. Won that race by half a length. I think that she's moving in the right direction. Second start after a little bit of a layoff for Tudor Jordan. I think Just Roll Me Over can have a good run at some big odds tonight. And then the number 1, Just a Moment, is going to be my third choice. This horse has had a pretty good year as well. Out of the 5 starts, it's been in the exact in 3 of those 5. Picked up a win back at Sam Houston this year. Most recent race was second by a neck. She was in for the $20,000 tag that day. Was in an allowance the race before that. Only missed by half a length in a 4th place finish. Just a Moment, another one at some decent odds that could run very big. I think there's a lot of contention here. But I'm on the 8. I got an 8-3-1 here in race number 7.
Yeah, I think Aristides on paper is just try to beat him. I mean, I just think obviously we've seen horses, not fire, and anything can happen in a 300-yard race. But, yeah, he's, to me, he's obvious. He's beyond obvious. He's a justified, very heavy favorite. And might point out, San Lorenzo Ivory, who he just was lapped on at the finish, meaning inside of a length, winner of the Texas Classic Juvenile, 5 for 8, a restricted Grade 1 winner. And he ran a really nice race to San Lorenzo Ivory. My second pick is Hot Tamale. Gets a better post. He was out in the 8-hole last time. He moves in a couple of stations today. He not only did he start toward the outside, but he got herded out early in his last start. He's made 3 futurities. I think Hot Tamale could have an impact here. So I went 8-6-1. I kind of like Just a Moment as well. I mean, that was a really good try inside of On the Cool Side, the winner of that race last time. Okay, let's wrap it up. Eighth and final, $1,981 is the High Five carryover. Were you born in 1981?
I was.
Not to give away too much of
that. That was the year of my
birth. How about
birth,
that?
Early on.
That was a good year.
I was an early year full that year.
Oh, were you? Okay.
Yes.
Well, I was an 81-82 college graduate, so that era is a very good era for me.
There we go. I like it.
And you were
too. Not bad.
And you were a youngin', and I was already in college. That's a pretty good age. That's a pretty good age difference there. But Paints and Apps. Maiden special weight 2-year-olds here. Wrap up the card going 3:30.
Yeah, ending it with the Paints and Apps tonight. I got number 1, Rio Chick, even money, morning line on this horse. I mean, last 2 races for Rio Chick were both pretty decent out here on our racetrack. A third and a fourth, beaten by 3/4 both times. Next out winner in that most recent race finished second. Intrepid won that race. I think Rio Chick can have a good spot here. Number 2, VP Double Down Dash can be my second choice. Horse is 0 for 11, does have a second place finish. You got to look quite a ways back to find that one. That was Retama at the beginning of August. But since then, this horse has had 3 starts on our racetrack. Very first one out here this year was a third, missing by half a length. Most recent one was a trial for the Texas Classic. That's when what is that? That's
what are we talking about?
Yeah, the paint VP, that last race. That was for the trial for the
Olympia Joe, was it? The Texas Hero?
Could be the Texas Hero. I don't know. I'll have to check on that.
I think it was the Texas Hero because that's the race that's still coming up. We've already run the Olympia Joe.
But we had the Stallion East-Search Claimers Cup that night's trials.
Yeah, but I think being a $10,000 purse, I bet you this was the Texas Hero.
All right, I'm going to do some research on that. But
I can look it up right now while you're talking.
All right, BP Double Down Dash, that is going to be my second choice here. So it hit the board in 4 out of 11 so far this year, including one out here at Lone Star Park. And then number 8, WL Casanova. That's going to be my third choice. This one's coming out of that same race, so whenever we find out what it is, I'll let you know.
But Equibase doesn't list paint and app futurity trials. It just says not available or something. Go ahead.
Well, there we go. WL Casanova coming up out of that same race as VP Double Down Dash. This horse finished 7th in that one. Just didn't have it that night. But, had a 4th place before that, running at the 300 yards. We're going to see what 3:30 does tonight for WL Casanova, but I think this horse can get up and finish in the top 3 here in the last race of the night.
And we're both 1287 in that last race. We have the same exact picks. I was distracted by trying to check on that work for Victorio, so if you said this, I apologize. But did you mention that Rio Chick has only faced quarter horses in his career? Horses that are dual registered with that asterisk, sometimes they run against quarter horse fields, sometimes they run against Paints and Apps. Quarter horses generally quicker, in some cases much quicker. And Rio Chick has never faced Paints and Apps. He's only faced QHs. And, pretty good ones, too, like Rusted Good and Intrepid, and he's caught some good maiden races. So I think he stands out big time in this race, just like the one in the previous race. And this horse ran well inside last time, so he doesn't seem to have a problem with starting inside. So he's a solid choice for me. VP Double Down Dash. I mentioned this. He's had a long campaign. This is his 12th start. But, he's had an okay year, but I think the suck-along effect might be in effect here. This one, if he gets out well, he might drag the two right along with him. So sometimes it's worth a shot when you're looking at these races. You like a horse, look at the horse next to him, and he has some credentials. So I'm going 1, 2, 8 as well. All right, I think that's it. 8 races tonight. Should be an interesting night of racing. Rodney will be down here, probably sans the
no jacket,
ski
no
cap
hat
and
today.
jacket.
I think it's going to be a nice one this evening.
It's a little warm, but it's beautiful. Very nice for December 8th. All right. Thanks a lot for looking in. Rodney will have his previews all night. Thanks a lot for being with us, and good luck on your Thursday.
Home here at Lone Star Park at Grand Prix.